So here are the top three stories that you need to be paying attention to right now. And they're not stories that you would have expected or imagined, but let's start with this. Russian central bank raises its interest rate to 15%. It went from about 7.5% to 15% in the last 3 months. Something is going on, something is bizarre there. Now, generally, when a central bank raises the interest rate, it's doing that to curb inflation. But Russia isn't experiencing big inflation, so it's not that. It's the ruble. They're trying to protect the ruble. Now, why are they trying to protect the ruble? Would you want the ruble right now? The answer is no. The reason that you don't want the ruble is because you don't trust that it's not going to be valuable. Like you would prefer other dollars or yen or some other thing, right? Pesos, anything, not the ruble. Why? Because you don't trust it. And the amount of trust that we have in the ruble is very tied to the amount of trust we have in the economy of the country from which that currency comes from. Okay, if you want to know more about that, I highly recommend that you watch Joe Blogs. Just today or yesterday, he put this out, and it's Russia hikes interest rates for further to 15%. He did a really good job. Second big story, Belarus's Lukashenko says that Ukraine-Russia war at a stalemate, and he urges talks. Okay, so how do you interpret this? You look at Lukashenko is one of Putin's chief allies. What's the message that Putin's chief ally wants to set? It's a stalemate. Now we have to negotiate. That's what he's trying to communicate. And so if he's saying that, that doesn't mean that there's a stalemate, but that means that that's the message that Russia wants to project out to the world, that because there's a stalemate, we probably ought to negotiate. And I think that's really interesting that that's happening as it is right now. Okay, here's the third and final story, and that is an anti-Jewish mob storms Dagestani airport as flight from Israel arrives. So a mob of hundreds of people shouting anti-Jewish epithets stormed and shut down the airport in the Russian city in the predominantly Muslim region of Dagestan after a flight arrived from Israel on October 29th. Why is that important? Well, so Russia has been trying to fan the flame of the Israeli-Gaza conflict. And in doing so, they're even, letting their own citizens, like these are their own citizens. This is Anton Gerdes, Russian media report that the Minister of National Policy of Dagestan has arrived at the airport. He's talking with the crowd. According to Nyet, Israel news website, all the passengers on the plane are citizens of Russia. Okay, they don't care that it's even Russian citizens that are about to be attacked. That doesn't matter to them. They want to fan the flames of what's going on in the Middle East in order to have eyes taken off Ukraine. All right, those are three stories, 3 minutes. Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.